Welcome to Lying Strong, the place where you get to become who you were designed to be. My name is Lyonel. I am the host here. I am so happy to have you guys back here. It's been a couple of times, I guess we kind of missed out. Haven't done this in a little bit. And I'm really excited about being back in the fold with some awesome stuff for you. Today, I wanted to take the time and talk to you about something that's been coming up over the last month or so, a lot actually, with different people that I've been having conversations with. We've had a few clients or potential clients come in to interview with us, to be able to work with us directly. And in those conversations, a lot of times I'm finding out that people are having issues that they're not even aware of is happening to them because of the fact that they're getting older. So I kind of wanted to take the time to address that today. My topic for today's conversation is going to be about hormones and the hormonal imbalances and things that happen to us as we age and how we can actually combat some of that stuff. So let's get right into it. Guys, men or women, it doesn't really matter. As we get older, we all going through certain things when it comes to our hormone systems and our hormonal balance / imbalances that are really wreaking havoc into our systems, and we may not even be aware of it. Sometimes women are more aware of what's happening because they tend to be more affected directly by the hormones or the hormonal changes than we are. I mean, and with most men, we don't go through cycles, so to speak, of anything, so they don't really get and see how that affects us, but it affects us just as badly as the women. They just are more aware of it than we are. So I'm going to talk about the two differences between them and what can be done and how you guys can go about approaching things. But really, what happens, okay, you start hitting your 40s and later, and as you know, a few different things start happening to us, especially if you're not active and you're not exercising and you're not doing anything. We start experiencing sarcopenia, which is a loss of muscle mass every decade as we get older and older and older, and then it starts happening from decades to every year, and then it gets to accelerate basically as we age more. That's a normal part of aging for every single one, but as you know, because I've already discussed that in a previous show, sarcopenia can be addressed, and you can do things basically to negate the effects of it and stop yourself from going through that. And obviously exercise is a big part of it. Your nutrition and other things that you do are there. But there's a third part and there's a third component to that that's affected that we haven't talked about, and that's the hormones. And that's what I want to address today, and that's why we're going to go into all of this to really be able to help you guys get a better understanding of some of what happens to the body. So as we age, number one, we start losing muscle mass. Part of the reason why that's happening is because our natural hormone production starts decreasing. So whether our hormone levels were up here when we were younger, as we get older, it starts slowly going down and going down and going down and going down. And what happens now, after a while, we get to a point where our hormone levels are so low, they start affecting everything that we're doing, and we're not even aware of it. And so for a lot of people, you've gotten to a position or to a point over the last few years of your life where you feel a certain way, maybe your energy levels are a little bit lower than you used to, certain things are a little bit more difficult for you to accomplish. Maybe you're finding yourself every time you try exercising, what used to work really easily when you were younger doesn't work anymore. Like you'd go in and basically work out or diet, you used to be able to lose weight right away or gain strength right away, and you find yourself not experiencing those things. Those could all be signs that your hormone levels are greatly affected or a lot lower than you realize, and those would actually prevent those things from happening to you. You would prevent you from being able to see the gains that you normally would. And something, again, that's not really looked at or talked about by anyone, but that is huge part of what we do. So there's a big industry out there, which is the hormone replacement industry, right? Where they're talking to you about bioavailable hormones or a hormone replacement therapy, all those kind of things. You have these clinics popping up left and right where they have all like, hey, you can get estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, all these things, right, to be able to help you. You can get peptides, you can get all these things that are great, and they are wonderful, don't get me wrong. And I'm going to talk to you about the benefits of a lot of those things and why you would want to or not want to do them. But as great as they are, this is not necessarily something that I think everybody should go and do. One of the things that I see that's very common is a lot of people in their 30s and 40s will actually go in and start on those therapies, not necessarily because they need them, but because they've been told or pushed or talked into optimizing their systems. Understand something. I am 100% believer in absolutely optimizing everything about your body so you can perform better, be better, do better, etc. But there are certain things that I believe you should only do when your body absolutely needs it. Because if you're doing the right things with your nutrition, if you're doing the right things with the way you move and you exercise, if you're doing the right thing with your lifestyle and making sure that you're creating habits for yourself that are all powerful and generating great things for you, you will optimize your life on your own. You will optimize your body and everything else on your own. You will not need anything external to be able to help you be better, because you will literally be the best version of you that you can be. However, if you're doing all of those things and you're still not able to get to the level where you think you should be or where you can, you probably want to make sure that your hormones get checked. It'll be pretty interesting to find that they may be lower than what you expected them to be, and that could be the reason why you're not seeing the results in the way that you want. So it would be a great point or a great idea at that time to actually address that and see how you can work on creating replacements, okay? If that's not the case for you, however, you're not experiencing those things, then I don't think you should actually look into doing any type of replacements until you get there. The wonderful thing, or the interesting thing, I guess I should say, about the human body, even if you are doing all the right things and you can stave that off for a long time, it's going to get to a point over next 10, 15, 20, 30 years, whatever, where your body now will start not being able to produce that no matter what you're doing on your own. So you will, at that point, need to find an alternative source, so to speak, to be able to help you maintain those levels. So in those scenarios, finding hormone replacement is absolutely a key to making sure that you function better. So why is that important? Well, I have a friend of mine. Remember, he reached out to me not too long ago. It was so interesting because we were having a conversation, because I hadn't seen him in a long time. We're talking about his life, what's going on, how's the family, etc. And he's just telling me about how it's been for him lately, where he's struggling. He's like having low energy. He's not able to function as well as he should. He's just like has no drive, basically. Like he almost has no desire to want to do anything. So I'm asking him, well, what about his workout program and his training? He's like, yeah, I still go to the gym and I work out every day and I'm putting in the work. But man, sometimes the workouts get to be really hard and I'm not seeing any changes. I'm not putting on any muscle. If anything, he feels like he's getting fatter. And I'm like, well, you're not fat to begin with, so that really wasn't a problem. He goes, yeah, but nothing is changing, man. I'm doing all the right stuff. And then so I asked about his nutrition and what he was doing. And based on what he was telling me, it sounds like he's eating all the right stuff and in the right way, and nothing is happening. So I asked a simple question: have you checked your hormone levels? And he looked at me like I was speaking a foreign language. And he says, what do you mean? Your hormone levels, have you gotten those checked yet? He goes, I can do that? I'm like, of course you can do that. He's like, well, how do I do that? It's simple. Get a blood test. It'll tell you everything you need to know about what's going on with you. I have a feeling, based on what you're saying to me, that your hormones might be a lot lower than they need to be, specifically your testosterone levels. So you might want to get that checked and see what we can do about that. Sure enough, he did that, and turns out his numbers were pretty much in the toilet. I mean, below 200, I believe they were around 170 or so, which, if you know anything about those numbers, that is extremely low and makes it very, very difficult just to be able to function and have a normal life. So I told him to go visit his doctors, bring on the tests, and actually go find out if he can get on hormone replacement therapy. Fast forward a few months later, I'm speaking to him, and he's a completely different person. Because he got on therapy, because he's actually doing the right things, his hormone levels are back to normal levels now. They're not extremely high, but they're not ridiculously low like they were. He's not trying to become some super athlete or whatever and using things to make him better than the average human. He just wanted to be able to have a normal life. So by him simply doing that, it provided him, his body, what it needed to be able to get his energy levels back up so he can actually resume activities that were normal to him. So instead of feeling lethargic and wanting to sit around at home and do nothing anymore, he's actually out living his life, and he's so happy. And I'm so glad that we actually had that conversation. And I'm wondering after that, man, how many people actually don't even know that that's a possibility for them, that there are solutions that can actually help them with that. I just told you, ideally, I would prefer someone go through it naturally. But in his particular case, he was doing all the things that he could naturally to make it improve, and nothing was changing. So getting the outside help was absolutely key for his survival and him becoming better. Another example that I've seen of people going through this, someone else that I know going through this was actually a woman. Again, experiencing those same type of things, right? Having issues, not really seeing anything. The difference was they weren't active. They weren't doing anything physical. They're just kind of like living their lives, just kind of going through it like the lazy way. And then they were finding it very, very difficult for them to be motivated to do anything. And so the first thing that we tried is just actually starting them into a program that was going to get them excited. Now, I didn't start an exercise program. And the reason why I say that is because the idea of exercising was painful to her. And so if she was going to get up to go quote unquote exercise every day or every other day, that didn't motivate her in any way to go do anything. So what we figured out instead was a way to get her to go play something that's exciting for her. So we figured out movements that she can do, that she actually enjoyed, that felt like playing, that felt like being a kid again. We utilized implements that made her feel like this was that, and we started with that. She started showing up every other day to actually just go play with those toys and those implements and those things that we're actually doing. And it was fun for her, and it was different for her. And she felt accomplished by that because she wasn't suffering or struggling with the stigma that typically goes when a lot of people that haven't been active for a while try to go back to the gym to go quote unquote work out. And so because of that, after a few weeks, she found herself excited about actually showing up to go learn something else and do something else. But what she wasn't also aware of is that she was getting physically stronger. All of a sudden, the things that were an issue for her before no longer were. And she was finding herself capable of doing more and more and more, which was awesome. And energy levels started going up. Everything else started going up. Now she had an interest in what she was eating because she also started to understand that because her activities are increasing so much, she needs to make sure that what she's eating is supporting what she's trying to do. Just by making those changes, all of a sudden, she's a completely different person. Lifestyle is better. Everything is improved. She has clarity now. She's not longer in the fog state. She's energized. She can do things. She's seeing a change in the way her body responds to her, but also in her way her body looks and feels, which is fantastic. And there was no need for her to do anything else. Great, wonderful. I love the fact that a lot of people out there can actually go through that process and see an increase in their hormone levels simply by them changing their habits, their activities, their nutrition, and of course, sleep patterns and other things that they're doing in terms of habits at home to be able to do that. We can go into details if you guys want to have a conversation about that, no problem. Also, another example of someone else that's gone through that process, the difference was she was active. She was regularly going to the gym. She was regularly training. She was regularly doing all these things, but not seeing any changes in her body. So she changed gym, started a different routine. It was great and fun for her first couple of weeks. But again, same thing after a few months, finding herself basically in the same position and nothing changing. So she changed gyms again and kept doing that over and over and over for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. Just kept changing every few months because she was not seeing any visible results to anything, but yet was very disciplined with her nutrition, was very disciplined with her showing up and actually putting in the work and doing all these things. But she was finding herself getting more and more lethargic and having more things happen. So, and she had conversations with people, and the answer was always the same. Well, because you're at that stage where you're starting the menopause and whatever, so it's going to affect you like that. It's a normal part of life. Just go with it. You'll be okay. It'll settle and you'll be able to get better. She didn't really want to accept that answer, but that's what she had to go with, so she did. But she kept thinking, man, that doesn't sound right. There's got to be a solution. There's got to be a better way. And we just so happened to meet and have a conversation, and as we were talking, she's explaining what's happening to her, and I asked a simple question. Have you gotten your levels checked, your hormone levels checked? And she's like, oh, yes, I have. And I'm taking estrogen because it's helping me with this and this and this. I'm like, great. What about your testosterone? And she looked at me like I was some kind of alien coming out of some whatever structure. Like, what are you talking about, testosterone? Why would I look at my testosterone? And I'm thinking, are you serious? Do you not understand that it is absolutely necessary for you as a woman to have testosterone levels in your body at an optimal level? Otherwise, you can't function. It has nothing to do with male, this, that, or the other. It has to do with basic functions. Your body actually needs that in order to be able to produce things, to create muscle, to give you energy, to have you all these things that you normally have to do. You need to have that. Understand this. Your testosterone levels as a female will never, ever remotely be even close to what a male's hormone levels are, but it's still necessary for you to have it. And there is a range where it is normal or it should be normal for you to be into, and you definitely want to make sure that your levels are there. So when I told her that, again, the look was like, what? What do you mean test levels? I said, never mind, go get it checked. Long story, she got them checked, found out that her levels were absolutely in the toilet, so to speak. And so she got on replacement therapy for that. Fast forward 2 or 3 months later, she's a completely different person. Now, all of the things that she was doing were starting to pay off even better for her. She wasn't experiencing the same sort of lethargy. She was actually seeing results in what she was doing. She was literally having a much better time with everything else. And, one of the benefits, of course, is her libido went up as well, and which was kind of a cool and fun thing, right? Because not talked about thing, but that helps with lifestyle, with you enjoying your life, so to speak. And it was a great thing, and she was really, really thankful for that. And I thought, after having several of those conversations with different people, it dawned on me that there's a lot of people out there that really, truly don't understand that these things are a necessary part of life. So if that's you out there, and you're finding that maybe it's a little bit difficult for you to do things, might not be a bad idea to go get a simple blood test and actually check your hormone levels. You'll be surprised to learn that things may not be as quote unquote good as you think they are. Just because you're functioning and able to do things doesn't necessarily mean that your levels are optimal or that your levels are bad, but it's not a bad idea to actually know. I think a lot of times most of us live in the dark, so to speak, because we think, if I don't know, then it's okay. Then I don't have to worry about it, because if I don't know, then it's probably not happening. Let's be clear here. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is bullshit and it'll fucking kill you. So don't be ignorant about what you can actually do something simply to change. So for most of you out there, right, changing your lifestyle, including different habits, can automatically help you increase your levels where they all become normal. Whether you're male, female is irrelevant. You can absolutely get your hormonal levels to balance by your actions and activities. However, if it's gotten to be below a certain point, there's nothing that you will physically be able to do to change that. It is now an optimal thing for you to go and meet with a doctor or meet with a clinic or whatever or somewhere and actually get on replacement therapy to be able to help bring you back to normal levels. There's not a right or wrong way here, but if you need it, get it done. You'll be amazed at how much better your quality of life will be in every area. So those of you that have been quote unquote training forever and not seeing changes, I'm pretty curious to see, besides the fact that you may not have the right habits, I'm pretty curious to see what your hormone levels are like. You might find yourself in a way where they're a lot lower than you think, and that's actually what's causing the inability for you to see the results that you're getting. Why not, right? What's the worst that can happen? You get them checked and you find out that they weren't great and you got it fixed and you now can function better. I think that's a pretty damn good deal. If that's the worst case scenario, holy shit, Batman, bring it on. The question is, what's the best case scenario? The best case scenario is that as good as you feel now, you can feel 1,000 times better. The best case scenario is if you feel like crap now, you can feel 1,000 times better. Either way, it's good or it's better. So go get it checked. Figure it out, look at it, and really help yourself become a better person. Look, the whole goal of everything that we're doing here, right, is to address us, boomers and Gen Xers. I mean, we're like the generations, man, that's gone through everything and anything. We can handle all kinds of shit, so to speak, from people. But at the end of the day, a lot of us really weren't taught anything about what to do with our bodies and how to approach things the proper way to be able to get the results that we want and things that we want to do. I'm here to just give you the truth about it, right? So you guys can learn and apply it and do it and see the results, or you can choose to keep doing shit the way that you were and keep complaining about the fact that things aren't great. To me, that makes no sense, but some people prefer that because they love the misery and they love the idea of commiserating with other people, right? But me, I like the fact that, man, I want to see people actually become so much better than what they were, because the potential of who you are is so freaking amazing. I would really, really love to have each one of you experience that for yourselves. It is such a powerful thing, man, when you can step out there and have your body be capable of doing things that other people are in absolute awe of. That should be you every day. People should look at you and say, wait, how old are you? Holy shit, you can do that? Wow, that's amazing. Man, I hope when I get to be your age, I can blank. That's kind of cool. Super cool. You know what I'm excited about? When I get to be 200 years old, people still say that shit about me. That'd be fucking awesome, right? So that's my plan. Now, whether I'm going to get there or not, I have no control over that. But you know what I do have control over? What I do every single day to make sure that I have a chance to be able to get to that point. And so do you. You want your lives to be better? You have 100% control of what you do and how you do that to make it happen. If you want help with figuring out, with knowing where to go, how to do, reach out to me. You can call us. You can go on the website, click to have a conversation. information. You can reach out to us to social media. There's a gazillion ways you guys can reach out to us and actually figure out, sit down, talk, and let's find out, man, what we can do to help you become an absolute bigger, better, badass version of who you were designed to be. Man, thank you so much for taking the time to listening to me today. I'm excited about this one. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next podcast. Enjoy. Peace out.